Stereophonic seems like you don't know me. If you are if your idea of fun involves sequins, drama, and a healthy dose of Europop madness, you are in for a treat, because joining us in the studio is someone who knows the Royal Vauxhall Tavern like the back of his hand. He's a director, performer, and the creative force behind the hit cabaret show Eurovision Your Decision, which is back next month, bigger, bolder, and camper than ever. Let's welcome to the studio Tim MacArthur. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on this moist evening.
Yeah, it's well. What else? How else could you describe it?
It's a bit muggy.
It's a bit muggy, but we are not muggy.
We are not muggy.
We're in the studio. You've got your sequins on.
Sequin jumper.
You've been, taking this weather and adding a little bit of sparkle to it in a way that only you can, Tim. So Eurovision, Your Decision, for people who haven't heard of the show before, what is it?
That's a very good question, because I ask myself every year we do it. What is this show? How do you describe this show? It's basically, if you love the Eurovision Song Contest, this is the show for you. We know every year Eurovision is completely mad and bonkers and absolutely
You never
silly.
know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. And with Eurovision Your Decision, it is all of those things, but with an extra level and an added twist. So you get the songs, but they each have a little twist and something very silly and completely out there in the world. It's just silly. It's just silly fun. If you're looking for a good night's entertainment and you want to laugh. And also, I think the most important thing is, even if you're not a fan of the Eurovision Song Contest, this is just a musical cabaret comedy show. And it's got everything in it. We've got it's like watching the competition itself. So you have the two presenters, one very, very English, one that accent ranges from somewhere in Europe, a combination. It could be anywhere really. And then we have 14 songs performed by four performers. And then between each song, there is a VT ident, exactly like the competition.
Yeah.
And while that happens, we are running backstage doing the most bonkers quick changes, not knowing where our wigs are, not knowing where our shoes are. So it's actually also can be quite hilarious if we sometimes don't make our costume changes and we come on half dressed or the wig backwards, but it's a hoot. And as a performer, we've been doing this is the 5th year of doing it.
Incredible.
It's one of the most exhausting things I think I've ever done, because it is so quick. And once you get on that train, there's no stopping. And we have lovely comedian Matt Richardson does our voiceovers for us, and then we do all of Act One, and then in the interval, the audience get to pick their favourite performance of the night. So as performers, we never know who's going to win that night. So the audience scan a QR code and they vote, and we all get very competitive as the run goes on. Especially Lucy Penrose is also in the show, and David and Joe, and we get a bit more like, well, you won last night, so I'm going to work a little bit harder on my solo numbers to get the audience vote.
But it's a great way to do it, isn't it? To have it so it's kind of interactive, so the audience are involved as well, because and so that it, I guess, for you as performers, so that it is constantly changing. You're not doing the same thing night after night.
And the energy, and doing this is our 5th year. We've always feel the love in the room, and there's some performances that will be raucous, and there's songs that people know that they can join in. There's elements that we encourage them to join in with. It's a party basically. And it's just silly. And Lucy said to me, "Where did this idea come from?" And I've no idea. I mean, I did do the show 20 years ago at the German Street Theatre, when you didn't have multimedia. So we just had Nigel Lilly, a really well-known musical director, played the piano, and 4 of us came on and sang, to piano.
Yeah.
Where now, you've got backing tracks, you've got video screens, so it's really elevated the show. And it's just been amazing to think this is the 5th year we're doing it, and the audience come back and see us every year. And because of that, we have a wide catalogue of songs. So we also do new songs, and then we revisit songs. Like I'm doing Gina G, Who Are a Little Bit, I've not done for 3 years, which actually exhausts me. And I remember the second year we did the show, it won both matinee and evening performance. And that day
You're just showing off now.
Well, just a little bit 4 times.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because I think when it's something like that as well, this is the amount of energy that goes into, pulling that off, because you just have to go for it, because it's got to be all of it, hasn't it, in those kind of performances. And like you say, once the competitive element, you might show up feeling a little bit tired, a little bit, run down. But then once you see your arch nemesis,
Yeah.
also your friends, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
these people that you're competing against, that's
Yeah.
it.
We say we're not competitive, but we really are. And, you know, we really feed off the audience as well, you know, and it is just such a joyous show to perform. And again, it's seasonal. It's a bit like Panto, really, in lots of ways.
So people wait for it to come round again.
Every
They're
year,
like, yes.
And we think like March, we're in pre-production, April rehearsals, May, we're on. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's just joyous.
Incredible as well to create a show like that has that kind of following that you can come back to year after year, because people love it. And I do think, you know, we were having a little chat before the interview started about that kind of idea that here in London, especially when it's the colder months, people are kind of dressed in their grey and black, and, you know, when there's a lack of light and etc., we can all feel a little bit down in the dumps. We need things to look forward to like this, don't we? We need things where we can just go and it's just about joy and laughter and fun.
Absolutely. And we also, you know, this year especially, I think we'd like to encourage people to come if they want to dress as their favourite Eurovision songs.
They get to wear their costumes.
Yeah, and especially so what happens is we open on the 9th of May and we run through for 8 performances right until the afternoon of the actual Eurovision Song Contest itself. And then that's our last performance. So on that performance especially, I think it'd be great if people come and dress up as their favourite Eurovision, and they'll be done by 6, so then they can go into their Eurovision parties in whoever's house they're going to and watch the real competition on the telly box.
That's a great way to do it, isn't it? It's you're the warm-up, essentially.
Absolutely.
You're the warm-up for the actual Eurovision Song Contest.
And the great thing about the Royal Vauxhall Tavern as well is the bar is open throughout the show, so we encourage the audience to you know,
have a little tipple.
While they're watching it. You know, we do a toast to Sir Terry at song number 9, all those traditional things with Eurovision, but then also the modern approach to it as well.
Incredible. And, you know, you're the creator of this show, and I can imagine that as time's gone on as well, like you said, obviously you did this for the first time, you know, years ago, but it was very different because you didn't have the multimedia, that, you know, that it's kind of grown and had little bits and little elements added to it, you know, as time goes on, because then you're like, oh, I could make it a bit better this way, or I could, you know, add this to it as well.
And also it gives you confidence in what sort of numbers to do and how far you can push a number. I mean, there is a particular number from 1981, Making Your Mind Up, which we have our own special spin on it. And every year we do it, the audience gasp and then they just roar with laughter. And we actually, 2 years ago, we actually had 2 casts. We had a London company and then we had a cast in Liverpool as well playing at the same time, because obviously Liverpool hosted the Eurovision Song Contest in 2023. And it was so exciting to actually be in Liverpool, in the city that was hosting Eurovision, and be around all that excitement and love for the competition.
Yeah. Are you a big fan of Eurovision?
I am. I always have been. And I think also because it's in a lot of ways, I think Eurovision is, because it's so out there, and it always has been, and it's very theatrical, it's very bold, it's camp, it's, you know, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've just, you know, grown to love it even more. And I think it's also, you know, like I came out when I was 15 in the northeast of England. So for me, it was like a bit of escapism as well, where you could escape into this sort of magical world of Eurovision where nothing makes sense and everything can go wrong and things go wrong, which are hilarious, you know. So I've always loved Eurovision. And actually many years ago I was in a Eurovision video. Yeah, the other thing I do, I dress up as a nun called Sister Mary, and I'm doing part of Janie D's cabaret season at Crazy Coqs. And one day we were doing a show at Jermyn Street Theatre, and I did a lip-syncing version of Flying the Flag from Scooch, and we put it on the YouTube to just sort of get different audiences to come and see it. And Scooch saw the video, and then they emailed my manager and said, could Tim come in and do Sister Mary in our Flying the Flag video? So if you YouTube Flying the Flag by Scooch and you see the nun, that's me.
I love it, because we were talking about the fact on the show today that YouTube's 20 years old today.
Yeah.
And it's got 20 trillion pieces of content on there. And one of them is that video. Tim.
Yeah. So Google it now if you're listening. Put in Flying the Flag Scooch and that nun is me.
Have a little look. So you have this kind of, I guess, rich history and a little bit of a relationship with Eurovision. Yeah. And now to be, you know, doing this Eurovision Your Decision, it's kind of like that full circle moment. And if anyone was going to do it, you're the perfect person to do it.
Bless you. I hope people come and enjoy it. You know, it's just a really silly night's entertainment. And I think especially where we are in the world, we all
need that.
We need to laugh, and we need to feel safe, and we need to feel loved, and be with people that love what we love as well, and be surrounded by that. I think it's really important these days.
I agree with you. Couldn't agree with you anymore. I think that we just need that little bit of escapism, don't we? That makes us feel good. Because sometimes as well, you think, oh, I'll just watch this TV show. It's a bit, and it can be the most kind of depressing, anxiety-inducing thing, and that's not really what we need. What can you tell us about the Royal Vauxhall Tavern for people who haven't been to the venue before?
Oh, it's an amazing venue. It is rich in gay culture. You know, like Lily Savage started there. I love that. I love that place. I love James and John and Dave who run it, and all the bar staff, and Pippa on the door. I feel really lucky as a gay creative. You know, for the past 10 years, I've directed that annual Panto, which is amazing. You know, and to be in that where loads of people, you know, they do lots of various events there, performances. They really support and nurture artists as well, and we're losing those venues.
Yeah.
So again, it's really important that, you know, we support those venues, again, safe spaces. And again, in the times we're facing, you know, like, who knows where we'll be in 5 years' time.
Yeah, well, hopefully
we'll not there. We won't be there, but we will be at the RVT.
Yeah, doing Eurovision Your Decision. It will still
I'll be
be
about
going.
109.
Yeah,
you know, in a wheelchair, pushing me on. I'll still be doing ooh-ah just a little bit.
But like you say, once you get on the stage, the energy from the crowd will hit you, and you'll be jumping out of that wheelchair, and you'll be up
absolutely
before you know what's hit you. And the costumes as well, I can imagine are something to be seen, even if, like you said, the outfit changes don't quite go to plan, and you end up with bits in the wrong places and maybe not all of the costume on.
Yeah, Michelle Taylor, who does our costumes, has done a marvellous job as always. And 2 years ago when we had 2 casts, I was like, I need 2 gorilla suits. I need 2 sets of wolf
just casually.
masks. I need 100 bananas. I mean, it was just, and she was going, what? 2 Sonias. I mean, it's just silly. It's just great fun.
A long list. I would love to see that costume list. And just out of context as well, I could imagine would be actually quite hilarious.
Yes, to listen into the conversations we had.
And the things that you were asking for as well, the kind of props that you needed. I can imagine that would, imagine if someone was just overhearing that conversation, you know, somewhere around London, just thinking, what are they doing?
I know. Well, my partner last night, Michelle, stayed with us, and she was repairing a certain item of costume for the show, and she was like, I just need to go and sort these out.
Right. And you're like, yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah. For you, just casual, just a normal conversation. Yeah. That's just how it is in your world, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Always.
Look, it's been so lovely to talk to you. And Eurovision Your Decision kicks off on Monday the 12th of May. Is that right?
The 9th of May.
Oh, the 9th. Okay. Until
the 17th.
Until the 17th.
The day of the competition itself. We also have shows on the Tuesday and Thursday, which are actually the semi-finals as well. Ooh. But people can watch the semi-finals later and come and see Eurovision Your Decision.
That's way more important. Yeah. And it's a live show. Absolutely. Where do people need to go to get their tickets?
VauxhallTavern.com.
There you go. Love that.
I know.
You know exactly where to
I
get
didn't
those
look at our lovely
from.
Lucy PR person for that.
Yeah.
She didn't mouth that at all to me. I knew it instantly.
You knew it off by heart. Look, it's been so lovely to talk to you. Thank you for bringing a little bit of sparkle into the studio on this moist Wednesday, as you said at the start of the interview. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And we wish you all the very best of luck.
Thank you. Come and see us.
I would love to. Yeah. It sounds right up my street, to be fair. I've got a couple of sequins that need to spin.
Great.
When I'm underneath the bright lights, when I'm trying to have a good